Hi there, my name's Mitchell Kennedy and welcome to Red Belly Media. In the last video we learned how to rig a 3D model's face using FACEIT add-on for Blender. Today we'll take a look at the facial motion capture solving and retargeting phases of the animation workflow using Facegoods Avatary software and Blender. Now Avatary has a free version which is extremely powerful and I'll leave a link down below to where you can find it. Once you've downloaded and installed Avatary, go ahead and open it up and click on the Tracker tab. Click the hamburger icon in the top left and select New. Select your project path and the file that you wish to track. If you're using a generic camera like a GoPro, select the second template. Once the project is open, click on the auto tracker and let Avatary run through its automatic tracking sequence. Sometimes this result can be good enough, but for more accurate results, I recommend putting in the time to make further manual adjustments. Work your way through each of the three groups, starting with the browse. Uncheck the other two sections, go to a frame where the pose is incorrect, and make manual adjustments to the tracking markers. This will automatically create a keyframe for this adjustment, which appears as a red line in the timeline. Scrub through the timeline and make a few more adjustments, focusing on the extreme poses. So for example, with the browse, make sure that you manually adjust for the browse up, browse down, browse squeezing together, and single eyebrow raises. After manually adjusting a few keyframes, hit the manual solve button. When the red progress bar on the browse tab has finished loading, preview the footage to see if the track accurately follows your actor's expressions. If there are any more incorrect poses, just manually adjust the frame and hit the manual solve button again. When you're happy with the browse result, move into the eyes group next. Repeat the same process, manually adjusting the eyes closed, eyes narrowed, eyes wide open, look left, look right, look up, and look down poses. Same goes for the mouth group. Make sure you pay particular attention to the mouth closed, mouth open, smile, and mouth O shape poses. If you're happy with the overall tracking result, tick all of the group checkboxes and save the retargeting file. We now move into the retargeting phase. Now Avatary supports Blender 2.83 and 2.93, so you'll have to install one of these versions to use the Facegoods retargeting plugin. If you're working in a more recent Blender version, I recommend saving your project file in the most recent Blender version, then opening this file in version 2.93 for the facial animation process only, saving as a different file name and then appending the facial animation action over to your original project file. Just remember to save to different file names and don't lose hours of work like I did because Blender 2.93 doesn't seem to recognize certain information like vertex groups from the later versions of Blender. Launch Blender 2.93 from the Avatary retargeting section. You will notice that a Facegoods tab is now present in the top left. Open the project containing the 3D model that you wish to animate, select your 3D model's control rig, and click on the Facegoods tab and import the retargeter file that we saved during the tracking phase. Avatary first needs to know which bones in your control rig are associated with the brows, eyes, and mouth groups. Select the brow group, select your control rig, go into pose mode and select all of the bones that control the brows. Then click Update in the controller tab. Do the same for the eyes and mouth groups. Remember that the nose tracking info is part of the mouth group, so don't forget to add the nose controllers to the mouth group as well. You can now save this controller setup so you can skip this step in future projects using the same controller rig. Click on the Add button and give it a name. We now move into the Pose tab and we need to pose a few keyframes to guide the Avatary software in the right direction. But we need to be able to see the original video that we track the performance from. Open a new viewer window and select the video sequencer option. Change it from sequencer to sequencer preview. Press Shift A and add a movie strip. select the video that you tracked. So once again for the browse, we need to add keyframes for the neutral brow pose, browse up, browse down and browse in. To add a keyframe for each pose, click on the update button and you will see each keyframe listed within the pose tab. If you click on a keyframe, the preview will now jump to that position in the timeline automatically. Notice that the keyframe numbers are currently red. Now we need to click on each keyframe and pose our character's expression to match the video performance. The neutral pose should already be okay, so we can select it and press update. When we click on the next keyframe, you'll notice that the previous keyframe is now green. Pose the browse up to match the video reference and press update again. When all of the poses for this group have been updated, click on the Start button. Now you can scroll through the timeline to check that the face animation matches the video reference. If it needs further adjustment, you can always add keyframes, pose the expression to match, and click the Start button again for the plugin to re-evaluate the retargeting. The process for the eyes and mouth groups are exactly the same. Add keyframes for each extreme pose, pose the model's expression to match, update the keyframe, and press the Start button to evaluate. Then adding adjustment keyframes wherever necessary. When you're happy with the final result, you can save the 2.93 Blender file and then append that FACEIT control rig action into the more recent Blender version. And that's it for this one. Now I hope this has helped you with your own project in some way. Let me know in the comments if it has. But as always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss any future videos. Check out the Patreon if you're interested in supporting the channel. Have a wonderful day and I will see you in the next one.